This is Defense News Weekly from NewsGate Television, edition number 11. Top stories in this edition includes news about milestone achieved by India in indigenous defense production, government declaring another list of imported defense items to be replaced by Made in India label, and news about Brahmos missile test firing from a naval ship this time with remarkable accuracy. And also, the first ever nighttime landing on aircraft carrier INS Vikrant by MiG-29. But first thing first, the continuing efforts to Make in India initiative has thrown up remarkable results, with news coming in that value of defense production in financial year 2022-23 has crossed the figure of rupees 1 lakh crore for the first time ever. The value currently stands at 1,06,800 crores and will go further once the data is received from the remaining private defense industries, a statement released by the ministry said. The current value of defense production in FY 22-23 is a rise of more than 12% over the last year when the figure was 95,000 crores. Massive push to promote Made in India weapons and weapon systems for three armed forces has given impetus for military equipment to be made by MSMEs and startups in the country. With the result, there is a 200% increase in number of defense licenses issued to industries in the last 7-8 years by the Government of India. Ministry of Defence on Sunday the 14th of May approved the fourth positive indigenization list of 928 strategically important military components list with import substitution value worth around 715 crores. All this in an attempt to promote self-reliance and indigenization in defense sector. In a release issued by MOD which gave details of about these 928 items that are currently being imported, which Defense Ministry wishes will be replaced by purely Made in India items. These replacements are valued at about 715 crores, that is to say, country will be saving this much in foreign exchange. Details of these items are available on the government-run Srijan portal. It may be recalled that three similar lists of defense items have been issued in December 2021, March 2022, and the third list in August last year that primarily puts a ban on imported defense items and replaced by similar ones that are manufactured within India only. Now the good news about Brahmos missile program. In its continued deployment stage with all the three wings of armed forces, the Navy version of the supersonic Brahmos missile, the cruise one, was test fired on Sunday, the 14th of May 2023. It was test fired from a guided missile destroyer INS Mormugao. Soon after the successful test, a statement was issued by the Indian Navy stating that it was the maiden Brahmos missile firing for the destroyer and it successfully managed to hit the bullseye. The messages flashed by the proud Indian Navy said, INS Mormugao, the latest guided missile destroyer, successfully hit bullseye during her maiden Brahmos supersonic cruise missile firing. The ship and her potent weapon, both indigenous, marked another shining example of Atmanirbhar Bharat and the Indian Navy's firepower at the sea. INS Mormugao is named after the historic port city of Goa in the west coast. Mormugao coincidentally undertook her first sea sortie on December the 19th, 2021, when Goa celebrated 60 years of liberation from the Portuguese rule. The majestic ship measures 163 meters in length and 17 meters in breadth, with a displacement of 7,400 tons, and can be rightly regarded as one of the most potent warships to have been constructed in India. This variant destroyer, INS Mormugao, is powered by 4 powerful gas turbines engines laid out in the combined gas and gas configuration, capable of achieving speeds in excess of 30 knots at the sea. INS Mormugao is equipped and loaded with state-of-the-art weapons and sensors such as surface-to-surface missile, surface-to-air missiles. By the way, the ship INS Mumbai is also equipped to fight under nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare conditions. It was a day to recall and remember for IDEX initiative, the Innovations for Defense Excellence, when on Monday, the 15th of May 2023, it signed its 250th contract with private manufacturers. The signed 250th contract, according to MOD, is with the private defense contractor InSpace City, will be manufacturing what is known as micro propulsion system for CubeSats, are a class of small satellites which are modular, low cost, easy to manufacture, integrate and launch from a critical component of a launch on demand capabilities. For imagery and intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance communication purposes, CubeSats need to be precisely aligned, hence there is a requirement of a compact propulsion system for which precise maneuvering and orbit correction is required. InSpace City is developing a gas-based system for this purpose. This technology, once developed, can be integrated with other satellites including CubeSat Swarm being developed under the Ministry of Defense and Mission Def Space. A word about IDEX. Till date, IDEX has received more than 7,500 applications from individual innovators, MSMEs, and startups under various categories of challenges like DISC, Prime, and Open Challenge. IDEX has also been able to generate thousands of jobs and attract India's talent back to the country. The IDEX is working at a path-breaking pace to ensure that its agreements with startups and innovators reach logical conclusions, timely, eventually opening up options for the budding and soon-to-be unicorns, and at the same time addressing the requirement of the services. It aims to engage startups to contribute to the defense sector and develop defense and aerospace setup in the country. IDEX is being implemented by DIO, established under the Department of Defense Production in Ministry of Defense. The 6th submarine project under P-75 Yard 11880, India's Navy Kalvari class commenced her sea trials on 18th of May. The submarine was launched in the month of April last year from Mazgaon Dock Limited. INS Wagashir is scheduled for delivery to the Indian Navy in early 2024 after completion of these trials. It may be recalled that till date, Mazgaon Docks has delivered 3 submarines under Project P-75 in the last 24 months, and the commencement of sea trials of this 6th submarine is a significant milestone. The 4th edition of Indo-Indonesian bilateral exercise Samudra Shakti 23 concluded on 19th of May. The sea phase was held from 17th till the 19th of May. The Indian contingent included Corvette INS Karavati with integral Chetak helicopter and a Dornier maritime patrol aircraft. The Indonesian Navy assets included KRI Sultan Iskandar Muda with integral helicopter Panther and C-235 maritime patrol aircraft. A series of complex exercises included tactical maneuvers, weapon firing, helicopter operations, air defense, and anti-submarine warfare exercises were undertaken that enhanced interoperability between the two navies. The sea phase was preceded by a fruitful harbour phase, which saw professional interactions, tabletop exercises, and sports exchanges. The successful completion of exercise Samudra Shakti 23 illustrated the strong partnership between India and Indonesia and reaffirmed the commitment of both the navies to promote peace and stability in the region through cooperative engagements. For the Indian Navy, the week gone by was special. The newly acquired maritime helicopter from USA, the MH60 Romeo helicopter, made its maiden landing on a destroyer. The indigenous destroyer INS Kolkata was selected for this sortie by MH Romeo. Basically, this specialized helicopter is for the war games at the sea and is equipped with state-of-the-art surveillance systems and subsystems. The integration of MH60 Romeo helicopter with Indian Navy's warships will boost Navy's capabilities to carry out anti-submarine warfare underwater. It will further boost the Indian Navy's ability to monitor maritime activities and conduct surveillance operations and is widely suited for anti-submarine warfare scenario. The Indian Navy received the first batch of two MH60 Romeo helicopters in July 2022. Another news from the Indian Navy: INS Delhi and INS Satpura, while returning from a naval exercise in the South China Sea, visited Cambodia. The visit of these two Indian Navy ships are part of a larger program to keep the Bay of Bengal area free from any piracy or terrorist attacks. And lastly, a very good news from aircraft carrier INS Vikrant. The first ever nighttime landing by MiG 29K took place this week on its deck. And that's all for this week's Defense News Weekly from NewsGate Television. Keep watching this space. Namaskar. Jai Hind.